back to Hiking in History. Today we're back in the new River Gorge, which is one of my favorite places to hike. We're at the ghost town of Kaymoor. The Kaymoor Miners Trail will take us from Kaymoor Top to Kaymoor Bottom. Kaymoor Top is where the miners lived, while Kaymoor Bottom is where the mining operation took place. It's about 4 miles for the whole hike, so we better get started. Are you wondering how the miners and the coal got from the top to the bottom? Well, Kaymoor used a system called a haulage. A haulage was carts on cables that were carried up and down the 1,000 feet of the gorge walls. I'm currently standing on the haulage house where it was all controlled. The haulage was in operation until 1962. Before we leave Kaymoor Top, I want to give you a little bit more of the history. So Kaymoor was a coal camp and was in operation from 1899 to 1962. As I said before, Kaymoor Top was where most of the houses were, but it was also where most of the business was conducted. The company store used to stand right behind me in what is now just woods. That's where the miners' families would have got everything they needed. Most of what we can still see today of Kaymoor is below us at the mine face and Kaymoor Bottom. Kaymoor Bottom suffered a devastating fire in 1960, which destroyed most of the buildings there. This also played a huge role in the permanent closure of the mine in 1962. Now, the National Park Service owns the entire area. The Kaymoor mine was owned by the Kaymoor Coal Company. The Kaymoor No. 1 mine, which is the one we're about to go visit, was the largest and most productive in the New River coal field. The miners produced over 17 million tons of coal from this one mine during its operation. We are now at the level of the mine face, and I'm standing at the dynamite house, where the explosives were held. To continue with the history, Kaymoor was named after an employee named James Kay, who was in charge of developing the mine and building the town. At its peak, there were 136 houses here, as well as a pool hall, a ball field, and segregated schools on each level. Interestingly, there were no saloons or churches at Kaymoor. Kaymoor No. 1 was a drift mine. It mined famous New River smokeless coal from the Soul Seam. It was a room and pillar mine, where miners hand-picked the coal and it was brought out in mule-drawn carts such as this. Later, locomotives were brought in to haul the coal back to the surface. To my left is the remains of the ventilation shaft, and to my right is the electrical building. The type of coal mined here was a very high-grade bituminous coal. An interesting fact is that the mine shaft extended 5 miles underground. So what did they do with all the coal? Well, they turned it into coke. We are now at the coke ovens. Kaymoor had a large coking operation with originally 130 coke ovens. They were beehive coke ovens, but during World War I, they extended it to 202 to help support the war effort. The coking operation lasted about a decade after the end of the war, with the last one flaming out in 1930. People came from all over to work at Kaymoor. They had experienced miners from neighboring operations, blacks from the southeast, and even immigrants from Europe. At its peak, Kaymoor employed 800 workers, and they were paid roughly $30 a day, $19 in cash and the rest in company scrip, which could only be used at the company store. The workers also had various jobs. Most worked as miners, while some worked at the tipple or the machine shop behind me. Since 1883, West Virginia coal mines have claimed the lives of 23,000 miners. Some have died in individual accidents, but most have died in major mine disasters like explosions. Kaymoor never had an explosion and had a relatively low death toll, making it a safer place to work. Well, if you see behind me, we have 832 steps back up to the top, so we better get going. See you later!